I want to give you an idea of how some people understand the relationships and marriages wrong. And this could be the cause for some marriages to fail, to end up in divorce, and for some relationship to be unhappy, and marriages also to be unhappy, to be, not pleasant for some people. And I was watching some old photos and come across this old friend of mine, a female friend, and I remember what she said once. She didn't say it to me; she said to somebody else because I would ask this question. I mean, back in the day to these people. So she is now in her 50s, 60s, but I mean, I've known her for many years, and some one day somebody asked her why she was single, why she never had a relationship, and she's childless, she's unmarried, but she never had a significant relationship anyway. There are many reasons also, so I avoid some reason. So she had a peculiar understanding of relationship. Her answer was, I don't want to be the caregiver, that in my language means like a caregiver for elderly people. So I don't want to be like the housekeeper, housemaid of my boyfriend, of my husband. And I don't know if this was implied or not. She mentioned like my mom was for my dad. This was one of the situations. So because this is completely unrelated to marriage. Marriage, the wife or the husband are not the housekeeper of each other. They're the housekeeper of their own house. So even if you are a single man or a single woman, you need to keep your house clean and handle your house and handle and be useful to the other person, but also is not your main focus why you are in a relationship. In a relationship, you are because of love, first of all. And some people may argue that love is something that fades during the over the time. I can tell you that this is not my case. I love my wife, but I love a lot of people, a lot of things, and nature. So I a lot of passion. Not everybody is like that, but anyway, love is one of the reasons why you're in the relationship. Could be not the prominent one for some, because not everybody is supposed to be um, so passionate like you can be, like I can be. So this is something that could be different for other people. But there are other people, other reasons why, like to have children, to love your children, or to give having a legacy of your life through children, to save money, because I mean, leaving it too is more efficient, and somebody can argue that too. And this is not because the marriage is wrong, not because the marriage is not efficient, because probably the people together can have a wrong attitude of marriage, a wrong attitude of respect for each other. And so that's why having this understanding, and the wrong understanding may be you, or maybe your partner, and it's not to blame either one. It's just to say that you don't understand that they have a different understanding of marriage. That's why they're not cooperating, and they're not being making, contributing to have happy marriages. So where this female friend of mine came from when she was thinking about wife equals housekeeper, housemaid, what was she thinking about? So the problem is also in a small town, southern Italy, uh, and don't get me wrong, this is not common. It's not surprising that this happened in a small town of southern Italy, southern Europe, but it's not the majority. But some people, for some reason, for some traditional reason, thinks that the wife should stay home and take care, and cook, take care and clean. And some men, back in the day especially, were helpless with the taking care of the house for many reasons. For reason because they did way more tiring job. So a wife should, once they come home, they don't have the energy to do housekeeping. they don't have the same cleanliness. Honestly, women don't have the same cleanliness standard of women. So when something is 80%, 90% clean for me, probably for my wife or for my mom, is completely dirty and is unacceptable. So there could be a different standard also in women. But this doesn't mean anything because many men are better than me. Of course, they're really good head of houses and homeowners. And some women could be a little bit messy or a little bit distracted, a little bit, lack of focus on the house. So, but I mean, I'm sure it's not your case that you're listening right now. But so this mom was the person that took care of everything, of shoes, of cleaning, of floors, of ties, how to dress their men. And so this friend developed the idea that if she get romantically involved with somebody, then her role should shift to taking care of her. Otherwise, people would leave her probably. I mean, otherwise the relationship would work, and she didn't want to work. So she's an accomplished nurse, very good, so very professional, very. I know I had positive reviews, not of the patients. I don't know any patient that she talked because she worked in an hospital in a different town, but of some coworker that have good, very good opinion of her as a person, as an intelligent person. And also, she has a very many hobbies, and she also a good house decorator. So she decorate her house with very good taste. And but I mean, she would think that her romantic involvement should shift, like the way they show love is by being a servant to their husband, and she didn't want to do that. So was she is I would say traumatized. She was negatively affected by her mom to do that, to be a housewife. That I don't know, probably her mom likes, but even for other experiences that probably her mom didn't like, and she complained every time when in front of the husband, in front of not the husband, but for sure in front of the children. I think she has a even older brother. Yeah, I think they are two siblings. So she has a brother. So the mother would complain about that. So she developed that. Not only that, so the father got sick. Was old, and then at that point he needed elderly care 24/7. And so my friend, witnessed the mother being a nurse basically. And this is, I just thought about that. This is also interesting that she chose the career of nursing. Probably that was stems in the fact that she witnesses this continuous helping clinically and health wise, and uh, everyday kind of needs wise to in her family, and that made her choose the career of nursing. That's interesting. See how many of our choices, good choices, bad choices in career, in relationship, in parenting, stems from what we learn. This is important. This happens in small town, in big town. In small town is very important because we have leader reference. So probably our sphere stays in the family. If something is a little bit dysfunctional, a little bit, it's not. I don't want to blame her mom. Probably that was all we knew. Probably she died, mother. She died with a feeling that she was accomplished and she did what she needed for her family, her husband. So she died like with a sanctity, with a sense of accomplishment, happy basically. And in so you have only this reference in a small town, a small village. You have even few reference. Probably is also very church oriented, And so with I mean, no offense again, with a little old style of family models that are taught around. So you have so few references. In a big town, then you have more people around you. So people are in a way, in the other way, and then you have more traditional, less traditional, more career women, more it's more common that people drive or don't drive because they use the trains or the public transportation. So you have my different. But also in a city, people tend also to mind their business. So even then, you may tend to have as a reference only your family or your immediate relatives, and so still you don't compare yourself to other friends that are have other situation, and so you don't have anything to tell you or to show you that the housewife slash housekeeper slash servant model of wifeness, being a wife, is the only one. So you don't have a second opinion about how life and how relationships should be carried. So uh, going forward, then I think the father died first, and then she had to take care of her mom and then the mom then developed dementia, so Alzheimer, and so it was hard for her doing that. So this lady, very smart lady, very good taste, um, very nice career, appreciated by her coworker for sure, and her their hobby. I know common friend that share the passion of wine. She's a certified sommelier level 2, probably now black belt of the sommeliers, and other friends and professionals that share their passion or do sommelier as a profession. They have a good opinion of her. So she has a great opinion. But then she had to spend many years of her late 30s, 40s to take care of her mom, health wise and on everyday needs. So she could help, I guess, to compare life with a husband doing, okay, I keep doing what I did for my mom. It doesn't feel fulfilling. It feels nice and good action as a person, as a Christian, toward my mom, but then it's enough. I did my job. Now I don't need to do romantic. So this is to say that many people, also in my support group that we host, almost every Monday, except a few holidays and few vacations, I come across people, or also like browsing some Facebook group that I'm doing more consistently recently. Facebook is there is a lot of stuff and people will complain of everything on Facebook. So and Facebook people says, okay, but I did this. I feel lost without my husband. What does it mean? You feel lost without you doing so much stuff for your husband. And so, if you do so much stuff for your husband, why? And this in case the husband left, why your husband would even leave you if you are essential for their life. So you need to understand. Okay, this friend's father, I don't know. So as I said before, he worked hard. Probably was a factory worker. I don't remember it, but it doesn't mean anything because my grandmother, she worked too in the farm and it was hard working. She worked probably 10, 12 hours a day, and she didn't complain about working. So this is the 60s and 70s mothers in Italy, and probably early 80s, where women say, okay, we don't work, and men work hard, and probably they work in factory, but in factory is hard, but it's not like in the 40s and 30s that really people, there were no machines, they had to have the physical strength, the physical uh, training of work. It's not like you are supervising machine. Yeah, okay, there is some material that you need to carry back and forth. Also, Amazon work and do carry packs, packages, and mailmen do carry some amount of packages, but it's not like back in the day. So you cannot be so tired for so stressed after going ahead that you cannot kiss your wife, you cannot help with cleaning dishes and stuff like that. So this is also a little bit, my friend was a little bit mistaken about accepting that her mom did so much for her dad when her dad was in good health. Okay, then after he or and in the late years also the mother was in bad health, that's different reason, but it could be 2 3 4 years of your life, and then at some points you need to get help also from senior house, from nurses, from additional in-house housekeeper or caregiver, in-house caregiver, or so you need some help. It's not that, especially when you are the only daughter. So coming back to our relationship, so you may I see many women that complain about that. So I do everything for my husband, I want to do everything, but he left me. How is possible? Because you guys have a different understanding of love, and here is where the love language, you may have heard me speaking about the five love language, which is a famous book that you can buy on Amazon, also in audiobook, where you think that serving, act of service, it's called service, is how you show love, and husband want kisses or want food or want be left alone, I don't know, or want to, something that is different from what you need. But again, even if you do service, even if you do, let me think, if you do gifts, service and gift, and I might be wrong, it's not what a relationship is for. Services and gift. It's a cooperation, it's a teamwork with children. And I always say that people say, okay, a relationship takes effort. No, relationship is fun. Children may take work. When you are a family with children, takes work. But relationship, it's fun. It's just to spend good time together. Then, if you want to do teamwork and also work together on bills, not paying, like just administrative work, paperwork, and enrolling. How do you say when you get when you make a contract for your utilities, your water contract, and you need to change, you need to install a solar panel. You sit together and do some of this work, or you do the gym together. But um, you can do that. But relationship don't require either of you guys can do that. You don't need to do teamwork on this part. Only probably on children, a few things. And of course, you need to agree on the furniture of your house, otherwise. But it's something that can be waived. But really, the important thing in the relationship to make it work, one is respect. But respect is not exclusive for relationship. It's important also on the workplace. So you need to be a decent person, and your spouse need to be a decent person outside of the marriage. So in his workplace, with his friend, but also with you. It's not like that. Okay, I'm respectful with friend, but in the house I do whatever. I fart in the house. I leave my socks all around, and I talk the way I want to my. And I don't know who would want to talk disrespectful to anybody, but I mean, some people probably do. It's not that you do that. You find your family as a outlet to talk bad. So respect is something that you need to have yourself and look for in a special one. First of all, not because it's exclusive of the relationship or something that defines a relationship, but it's just the minimum requirement for every even non-romantic interaction. So respect. And the other thing is there should be some affinity with your husband. That could be romantic, could be passion, could be physical, could be touching, could be some interest. Like I had, some. I mean, I don't want to say what they are to me. I mean, some friends, older friends that they get together. They're very books back. They love book. They love writing. They love researching of history, and say they had a. I don't know. I cannot imagine they to be physically, romantically. I mean, romantically a little bit, but physically together for some reason because they were old when they got together. But they were really. They had this aura of happiness when they were talking about book or history, local history, sometimes local history, especially in countries as old as countries as old and as visited by many population, many civilization like Italy, southern Italy. That could be fascinating to study what was there 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, and then even 100 years ago with the French, Spanish kings and republic and mm, brigands. It's a word, brigand. And mobs too, and politics and social. All this kind that was that. So that's very fascinating. So you need to have an affinity. It's not like, okay, I do everything for you. I do act of service, and he needs to understand that I'm doing it for you. Why he left? Okay. So this is to say. Uh, if you're in a situation where your marriage is bad or your spouse is leaving you, is serving you paper of divorce, you need to understand if you and are understanding marriage right, and if your husband is understanding marriage the way you do, because in this case probably the best way is to go ahead and divorce, and this will let you accept that situation better, but also can help you to understand, okay, now I know what I need to change. It's not that, what's the error that people can make. I cook for my husband, he's leaving me now, I cook even harder, and then let's say, let's do by step. I cook for my husband, I think he's happy, and he says that he's not happy, so I cook harder. Probably I'm annoying him even more, and he served me the divorce paper. And then I want to cook harder, and probably I'm texting him and harassing him, and is nothing is work. Yeah, because you are trying to do whatever you were doing was not the right thing that was keeping him with you in the first place. So understanding that marriages can be understood in many ways, some worse than other, but I don't want to blame you if you have some, mm, some specific ideas other than others. I don't want to say that any bad. So a way to understand, a way of understanding marriage could be bad if it doesn't work with your current husband and with the other possible dates. If it doesn't work with anybody, probably you can revisit that and you will like it mostly. If it's not working, you will like if you change it. So the point here is, if you're evaluating your marriage, why is not going well, and why probably in extreme case your spouse is leaving you, is divorcing you, and you find that he has a different understanding of, or at least the possibility only of him having a different understanding of divorce, can help you, if not fixing stuff, at least to accept the idea of divorce, and so you will not feel lonely at the end. You accept the situation. Okay, was the end. This was when I was supposed to understand that this marriage was at the final stop of its train ride, basically. And so that will give you less anxiety, they will give you more closure without him or her telling you what's going wrong, because probably they don't even know, just they cannot take it anymore, but they don't know what they cannot take anymore. And so this is important that you evaluate your marriage. You evaluate your marriage also based on how your parents or close, people that raised you, people had raised you, marriage was at that point, because that also affects you. And try to compare this marriage with marriages of your friends, probably, or your parents' friends, your family friends, because it can happen that you know you thought that other old friends of your parents had a bad marriage. Try to reevaluate now after 10 years, now that you're grown up, now that you are going through your experience, and reevaluate their marriage of your friends that your mom always criticized and you thought that was bad. Probably, I that marriage probably was the right one, and my mom's marriage was a litany of complaining that made me understand uh, wrongly my marriage, and made me a overachiever in my marriage, that I need to do more and more and more, give in, sorry, give into it. Don't know if it's the right expression. So to give to my marriage to make it work, and it did work at the end. Okay, I wish you all the best. I hope this clarify that you have a good teaching, and look for me on Facebook or on meetup.com if you have something more that you want to discuss your specific situation. We have the usual Monday night meetings, and look for Divorce Road for me, Franco, on meetup.com or on Facebook, and you will find how somehow to join this support group for people that are still married but thinking about divorce.